Good afternoon. My name is Caitlin Shaplin. Today I'd like to talk with you about responsive web design. You may find yourself wondering what web design is in the first place. Basically, web design is the process of making websites. But that's a bit like saying surgery is the process of cutting people open. It's a little bit simple, because from another angle, so is murder. In today's world, having a website for your business is essential. The internet is one of the biggest avenues we have for talking to the world. And if you have no online presence, it can be nearly impossible to run a business. Word of mouth travels far, but you can't curtail your image if you don't know what people are tweeting about you. The next logical question is, how does one go about building a website? Well, you use various scripting languages, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to do so. HTML is hypertext markup language. It's the blueprint of the content of a website. It's the what's going on the page and what it specifically is. Is it a paragraph? Is it a heading? Is it a footer? Is it made up of tags? It is made up of tags that are enclosed in chevrons, which are the greater and less than symbols we use in mathematics. CSS is the decoration of a website. If HTML describes the rooms in a house, CSS describes the colors of the curtains and whether or not the pillows are fluffy and made of down. JavaScript is a useful third layer. Every time that annoying pop-up window reminds you that your password needs to be 8 characters long and contain letters and numbers, that's JavaScript needling you for your info. Now that we've gone over these things, the next step would be to address the elephant in the room. What is responsive web design? Responsive web design is the optimization of a website to fit any screen size or bandwidth capacity through the use of specific tags in HTML and CSS. I'm sure everyone can think of a website or two that look just as good, which is not to say the same on your phone as it does on the computer. Those of us who don't have a computer, we may only look at the internet through our phones, except for rare occasions. It's becoming less common, thankfully, that you encounter a website with ungainly images that hang out of view, or with text that winds haphazardly around the page. In fact, you might have trouble now thinking of a website that doesn't have any sort of responsive web design. But these sites do still exist. Mobile use for the internet is still a growing method of connection. 10 years ago, websites didn't need to think about people viewing their content through a screen small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. The web wasn't made for regular everyday household use. It was created for scientists and doctors that needed to be able to share their files quickly, even if they were across the globe. The need for responsive web design is the next stage of website history, and not the kind you need to have deleted from your laptop. HTML has a rich history. HTML1 was born in 1991, and it introduced the href tag, which allowed us to link documents to our web pages. In 1994, HTML2 came around, setting the standard for HTML until the version 3.2. 1996, HTML implemented the use of tables so people could better organize their site's content. This is not good practice today. This is not how things are done. Do not organize your website by tables. In 1997, researchers were unhappy with the fact that HTML began concerning itself with the appearance of websites, leading to the development of HTML 4.01 and cascading style sheets, or CSS. In 2000, HTML and XML joined forces together to form XHTML, imposing stricter laws regarding the cleanliness of code. People still coded however they wanted. In 2002 is when we finally kicked designing website based on tables. 2008, the web hypertext application technology joined with Apple, Mozilla, and Opera to work on their first HTML5 draft. In 2010, Steve Jobs decided Apple products would no longer support Flash for a variety of reasons, ranging from security concerns to its overly proprietary code. Today, we are committed to making the internet a place where anyone can find whatever they're looking for, whether they're on a watch, a mobile phone, a phablet, a tablet, a notebook, a laptop, a PC, or even some household appliances. Today's web needs to have developers actively thinking about the way users are going to interact with the websites they create. It's essential. It's imperative. It's how things need to be done. You might believe that there's an app for almost all of that, and you'd be mostly right. There are apps for practically any purpose you might have. However, not everyone lives in an area where they can easily access the internet 24/7, and not everyone has a phone that can house up to 120 gigabytes of application data. Beyond these things, do you honestly have an app for every store you shop at? Honestly? What if you wanted to shop or eat or watch a movie somewhere new? If you visited a site for a local restaurant and found their site to be unwieldy, outdated, half broken, would you really want to eat there? Beyond all that we've spoken about so far, it's not overly difficult to make a website more responsive, which, I mean, if it's not hard, then why not do it, right? The first thing you want to do is to use a meta tag to set the scale of a web page to the width of the device using it. And beyond that, you use CSS to specifically style your website when it's being viewed by a cell phone. Nowadays, there really isn't any reason why web developers shouldn't develop for mobile as well. That's where the web is going, in a large way, as quickly as possible. And that's basically all I have to say about that.